Hello, everybody. Welcome to the January 6th Trips and Traps. I'm Andy Serling, joined by Eric Donovan.
We have 5 races to bring you all together, 2 different segments. Let's start off this first segment with a look at the 8th race from December 30th. We're looking at the 2 Eager Emma and the 3-Star Orchid.
This was one of these races that one of the first things you notice is an odd horse won in Spina, because Spina has just not been in good form. First thing that happens is Eager Emma is back, steadied back a little bit at the start. Star Orchid, on the other hand, the favorite, 95 cents to the dollar, in perfect position. Eager Emma behind the 8 ball from the start. Star Orchid, for me, will be a trap wherever she shows.
Star Orchid ends up getting a pretty nice trip in here behind the speed, and just doesn't have the, just doesn't have the finish underneath her this time out. And we see Eager Emma toward the back of the pack there. A horse that, going 6 furlongs in the inner track, she's probably up against a little bit. Thinks she's better off going 7 furlongs or a mile. What that means for her next start, I don't know. But perhaps she'll run a little bit better if they decide to bring her back at 6 furlongs here with this race under her belt.
Yeah, it's a valid point. Now, here is Star Orchid, and you could argue that the speeds who run 1-2 in here had the advantage, and there's Eager Emma once again on the outside chase. On the other hand, Star Orchid gets that easy ground-saving trip. And it's not so much that she doesn't specifically win the race, because if the 6-beat her or something, you could argue, well, she was okay and blah, 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 she was on the pace. Eager Emma swinging on the outside right there, while you've got Star Orchid making that sweet move between horses. At this point, she looks like she basically can't lose. Eager Emma spinning her wheels because she never had a chance the way the race was run. Star Orchid ends up getting beaten almost 2 lengths in this race, finishing 3rd.
Yeah, inexcusable that she blows 2nd here and lets the outside horse, Bells of Concerto, come back on the outside to get the place spot here. Just totally inexcusable in my book, and I think you're right, a horse that you're going to want to bet against next time out because A, the finish was close, and B, she didn't do that much running, and C, her connections are always going to take money here.
Right, as a Steve Ashton or Ramon Dominguez horse, she's just going to be short again, and I want absolutely no part of her. Eager Emma, I think she deserves another chance. This race was off a layoff. 6 furlongs, she can win at it, but she needs a good right setup. We'll see where she shows up. But Eager Emma, she's better than she ran in this race. Star Orchid, I don't know that she is.
We'll move on now to New Year's Eve, and we'll take a look at the 6th race, the 6th Decola's Officer, horse that was a decent price in the race, 7-1, finishes 3rd behind a couple of favorites.
Yeah, Decola's Officer should have won this race. Now here she is going to the lead. And this was a good ride in this sense because Simon Husbands, who's riding the horse, he wanted to be aggressive. Okay. It didn't work out for him. That's fine. You had a 40-1 shot sending on the inside. At this point, you need to be patient. You're not supposed to be worrying about 40-1 shots that are forcing you on the inside. And instead, not only does he engage that horse, but he can't wait to send after that horse the half mile. They went the half in 48-1. There were a plenitude of 2-turn races run on this day. Take a good look at the paces. They aren't anywhere close. Even the other mile race was much, much slower. For these cheap maidens, this was a supersonic pace.
It was indeed, and I think right here the Decola's Officer just needs to be, continuously rated. There's no reason to try to put this 40-1 shot Marie's Babe away and then, have to worry about what else is going to come behind you. Here's where the tactical error is here by Simon Husbands.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, not only does the horse, she put him away, but she just opens up on the field. And remember something else about this race. I mean, here she is going on a mission on her way to opening up a 5-length lead or so. The winner of this race, one of the favorites or not, at the 3/4 mark, she's 10 lengths behind. This race collapsed. She's not even on the screen, right? She collapsed. This move in this part of the race is what really lost it for Decola's Officer, a horse who's better than the one she faced in this race.
Yeah, and I think it could be a little bit misleading because you see her turning for home, and it looks like she has horse left. The jock's not really asking, but the running was done from the half-mile pole to the quarter pole, and now she's going to shorten up stride a little bit, and the 2 other horses, the 4 Voyager and the 5 Katie's Office Girl, are both going to pass her.
This is a good illustration of that misunderstanding people have sometimes, saying, why didn't that rider open up on the turn? Like, if you open up X number of lengths, they'll never catch you. And one of the famous times you heard it was Funny Side in the Belmont against Empire Maker. People say, Jose Santos should have opened him up on the turn. He would have lost by more if he opened him up on the turn, just as Decola's Officer did here. Decola's Officer is no superstar, but she's better than these horses, and she needs to get the right kind of patient ride. And she's okay. I'll take a shot with her next time, hopefully. I wouldn't even mind if the field looked a little bit tougher.
Yeah, she'll probably be, she'll be a similar price regardless of what the field looks like, and if the field's tougher, she'll be an even bigger price.
Right, with these connections, she can't be that short a price.
One more race to bring you in this first segment. We'll take a look at the Alex M. Robb, also from New Year's Eve, race number 8. Interested in the 2, Mind Over Matter.
Yeah, by the way, the pace was 3/5 of a second slower than half in this one. They're going a little farther. Mind Over Matter is an improving horse. Javier Castellano makes a decision to rate here, which I think is fine. There's no problem with it. The problem with it is what happens in the middle of the race, where he has the good position. I felt that Javier got lackadaisical with him on the backstretch, and as you'll see midway through the race, he ends up giving his position up to the favorite and eventual winner, Ichabod Crane.
Yeah, it was a great ride for Rajiv Mirage aboard Ichabod Crane, who's sitting last in the Earl Mac Burgundy Silks toward the back of the pack there, and you'll see Mind Over Matter just in front of Ichabod Crane there. But as the race shapes up down the backstretch here, we see a fair pace, a pace where I wouldn't say it really negatively affected anybody in the race.
Yeah, it certainly helped Manteca, the horse on the lead. But as you say, I mean, you've got the winner coming from dead last. It's right in here that Javier, you can see him have a strong hold on him. And he goes inside, but he commits inside. You see him sort of taking up there. I think Raj saw that and realized, I can steal his position away from him. Javier realizes right now, I'm in a terrible spot. I'm jammed down the inside. Here comes the horse I know I got to beat in the outside of me. This is a bad spot. And right in here, he's taking a hold of the horse. And you see him almost sort of not steady or shuffle, but he kind of half steady, half shuffle back to last.
So what should he have done there? Should he just kept riding forward and try to be right alongside Ichabod Crane?
I guess it's very easy for us to watch this in retrospect and say what he should have done. A, because we can't ride horses, and B, because we're so smart and we know. But in retrospect, yeah. Now, and I think that Javier would agree. He was trying to do the right thing. He got a little lackadaisical, and Rajiv was right on him. He sensed that moment, and he took the position away, which goes back to that whole notion. And you can see, as Ichabod will come through here, Mind Over Matter is sort of behind horses, caught behind, and he just lost his position. We're not saying he would have won this race, because I don't think he would have won this race, but he could have been much closer. If they meet again, it could be different. I guess the point is you always have to be thinking about forward motion, but not giving up position.
Yeah, I agree. It was an excellent ride, as we saw by Rajiv Mirage. Did everything right in there, and Mind Over Matter, a horse that got affected by that move that Ichabod Crane made on the backstretch, and a horse that should run better next time.
Yeah, it's just an interesting dynamic between what happened in the race, and not trying to blame anybody specifically, just more the way it worked out. Mind Over Matter can make things a lot closer, and these horses do rate to meet again sometime somewhere down the road, if not a number of times. And that does it for this episode of Trips and Traps, but you can reach us at that email address.
Send us your thoughts and comments, and perhaps some suggestions as well at tripsandtraps@NYRAinc.com.
Yeah, we love to hear your thoughts. Keep them coming.
And come on back for the second segment.